Well, I have been waiting for some economists to start weighing in on essentially the new UK-Australian trade deal. And again, surprisingly, there hasn't been too much fanfare about it, which, again, given it's the proper first trade deal that we have negotiated from scratch, you would think the Brexiteers would be all over this, celebrating this non-stop. But they haven't. They haven't at all. I think they're far more concerned, of course, with other things going on with Boris Johnson. But this trade deal that we've done is not good. From what we've already seen from one of the experts that commented on this briefly already, has basically said the UK pretty much rolled over for all the Australian demands. We were expecting a 15-year transition on lamb and beef. That's now become a 10-year one. So in 2031, there will be no more tariffs. They'll be gone. And remember, those are sliding tariffs. So those are going to get less and less as the years go on, which is going to put even more pressure on UK farmers, because they will still be expected to maintain their high animal welfare standards and again, the making of the meat, etc., all the processing that goes through it. They will be expected to maintain that high standard. Australia do not have to do that. They have far, far bigger farms than we do here, and they will literally flood the market with cheap lamb and beef, and it will just destroy UK farms. But that's not all. There's many, many more stuff in here that is just not going to help the UK at all, and is quite frankly absolutely shambolic. So I'm very surprised, to be honest, that this deal hasn't got more of a kicking in the newspaper. But again, other things have been going on, and of course, this was pretty much announced at the same time that Lord Frost announced his resignation. But there you go. So before we do go diving into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And also the YouTube memberships are open as well, should you like to support me that way. And as always, thank you to everyone who does support the channel. Even if you do, just hit that like and share button. Like I say, every little helps. And now, on with the article. So, this comes from The Guardian, the title of "The UK-Australian Trade Deal is More Golden Duck Than Golden Goose." So, cheaper Jacobs Creek and Hardy wines, tam-tams and surfboards for Britain, cut price Scotch, cars and clothing for Australia. While things might not be going well for the England cricket team in Australia, the UK government is talking up the Anglo-Aussie relations. Almost 6 months on from the agreement in principle, the UK and Australia have signed a free trade deal described as, quote, historic for its status as the first negotiated from scratch since leaving the EU. Ministers expect the deal to unlock the £10.4 billion worth of additional trade, saying that it will boost Britain's economy, increase wages, and eliminate tariffs on 100% of UK exports. For a government under as much pressure as England's toiling batsmen, it's a rare bit of good news to talk about, while everything else looks a bit grim. In economic terms, however, the agreement is expected to cut prices of Australian products in British shops by a little more than £1 a year per household, and has been expected to just add 0.02% to the size of the UK economy over the next 15 years, by even the government's own admission. Updated estimates released by the Internal Trade Department on Friday used a refreshing model approach and accounting to the finer details of the deal agreed in principle, and suggested it could now be worth as much as 0.08%. Still, it remains a far more golden duck than golden goose. British farmers are also concerned that the deal will damage their industry, while Greenpeace indeed has warned that the UK consumers could be eating Australian beef linked to deforestation. Flown across the world at a time when demands are growing for sustainable products with fewer miles from farm to fork. Union leaders are also concerned that this deal has in effect no means of enforcing labour rights and protection for migrant workers from exploitation. The TUC also warns that public services are not sufficiently protected, while there is a lack of safeguards on usage of workers' data and NHS data. Advocates also argue that the deal does not lower standards or expose British businesses to unfair competition. Company bosses have broadly welcomed the deal, saying that there are opportunities for exports with speedier, cheaper access, as well as a generous provision of labour mobility for those under 35. While there are also more hopes to export more green technologies and digital services with the lower barriers to trade, opening up of Australia for UK businesses and providing more choice for British consumers. The government's critics say in the similar terms that bigger opportunities closer to home, trade with the EU, was worth more than £550 billion in imports and exports last year, compared with just the £15 billion with Australia. However, Brexit imposes barriers that will have a lasting impact. And according to the National Audit Office, about 64% of the total UK trade is covered by free trade deals, against the government's aim of bringing 80% under such deals by 2022. Beyond hard cold economics, however, such deals can support a broader global geopolitical objectives and expand Britain's influence. The Audit Office has warned the benefits were indeed difficult to try and quantify, while the chiding ministers are racing to sign new trade deals without even sufficient parliamentary scrutiny. But the deal may be crucial for the government's own trade strategy in the near future, with Australia viewed as the gateway to the UK membership of the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP. Australia is, of course, a key member of this free trading area and one of the largest in the world, covering at least £9 trillion in GDP across 11 Pacific nations, including Japan, Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, and Vietnam. UK trade with this group is obviously worth £1,100 billion, and in 2019, it was the fastest growing. And of course, the deal does follow the UK-AUKUS security pact between the US and UK and Australia, under which Canberra will have access to nuclear submarine technology. Ultimately, however, distance matters in global trade. Links such as shared language, common history, and like-minded government may help, but eliminating tariffs and opening market access will only do so much to bring Britain closer to a country on the other side of the world. And as cricket fans might know, the middle of the night is not always the best time to do business. So overall, this is not a good trade deal. Instantly, this is not good. This will not provide any substantial benefits to the UK. Even if we do try to, again, gain ascension, you're talking £550 billion versus £111 billion. You know, the EU's still worth more in trade, and as he said there, distance still matters in international trade. And guess what? The EU is our closest market. It is far cheaper because, again, sending stuff is cheaper to send over there. And people aren't going to want to do business at midnight with Australia. It's just simply not going to happen. So you've signed it, but again, the fact that Britain has just completely rolled over in all of this, the fact that this is going to pretty much destroy the UK farming sector, as well as probably other numerous potential disasters, probably that we may not be aware of yet, and the fact that even the own government's very own figures can't even suggest how much this might actually be worth, whether it be 0.02% or 0.08%. I think it will be very lucky, to be honest. But again, this will obviously start next year. And of course, there will be other economists that will also, I'm sure, be analysing this trade when it starts to happen. And of course, the usual talking points will remain that, look, the EU is still our far greatest trading partner. Just because you've gone and got all these trade deals around the world hasn't really improved Britain's trade. In fact, it's a move to try and deregulate the UK as much as possible, all these trade deals. And that's what the Brexiteers want. Again, the fact that they haven't really been singing its praises just shows you really how bad this is. The fact that a UK household might save £1 a year. Again, the EU one was far more effective than we've just left. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.